History of genetic algorithms. The foundation for genetic algorithms, GAs, was laid in the 1960s, inspired by Darwin's theory of evolution. Holland's book Adaptation in Natural and Artificial Systems in 1975 rigorously introduced GAs to the world. These algorithms mimic biological evolution, applying principles like selection, crossover, and mutation to solve optimization problems. Although there's no code involved when discussing the history of genetic algorithms, it's crucial to recognize their roots in evolutionary biology. John Holland's work is particularly seminal because it not only conceptualized GAs, but also provided a theoretical framework for them, laying down the guidelines for crossover, mutation, and selection processes. These components mimic the evolution of species, where the strongest survive and reproduce, while mutation introduces new traits into the gene pool, driving innovation. Holland's foundational concepts have been adapted and expanded upon greatly, but the core principles remain pivotal in the application of GAs across diverse fields, such as optimization, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Basic principles. Genetic algorithms, GAs, are inspired by the process of natural selection and are used to solve optimization problems. They simulate the survival of the fittest among individual solutions to a problem. Let's build a simple GA structure to demonstrate the basic principles, including initialization, selection, crossover, and mutation. This simple code snippet demonstrates the core steps of a genetic algorithm. Initialization creates a random population. Selection filters out the best individuals, in this case, the smallest numbers for simplicity. Crossover combines selected individuals to produce offspring, enhancing traits. Mutation introduces random changes, preventing premature convergence on suboptimal solutions by ensuring genetic diversity. These steps iteratively evolve the population towards an optimal solution. Applications and use cases. Genetic algorithms, GAs, are powerful tools used in solving optimization and search problems. They mimic the process of natural selection, where only the fittest individuals are selected for reproduction in order to produce the offspring of the next generation. This methodology is not only fascinating, but widely applicable, from engineering design to machine learning. Here, we'll look at a simplified example showcasing the use of a genetic algorithm to solve the problem of finding the maximum value of a simple mathematical function. The code snippet provided is a placeholder meant to illustrate where you would typically implement a genetic algorithm. Although it doesn't contain a working genetic algorithm, the purpose here is to highlight the application of GAs in solving optimization problems such as finding the maximum or minimum of a mathematical function, designing complex engineering structures, evolving neural networks, or even in financial model forecasting. The versatility of genetic algorithms stems from their ability to efficiently search large, complex spaces by mimicking evolutionary strategies, thus finding solutions that might be difficult or impossible to uncover through traditional methods. Comparison with other optimization techniques. Optimization techniques are algorithms or methods used to find the best solution or outcome from a set of possible solutions. Each technique has its strengths and weaknesses, and the choice of which to use often depends on the specific problem at hand. Here, we'll briefly compare genetic algorithms, GAs, with two other common optimization techniques, gradient descent and simulated annealing. The provided code defines a function that iterates over three optimization techniques: genetic algorithms, gradient descent, and simulated annealing. For each technique, it lists a primary strength and a primary weakness. Genetic algorithms are noted for their ability to search the global solution space, which is useful for complex problems where local minima might trap more straightforward optimization methods. However, they can be slower and more computationally demanding. Gradient descent is recognized for its fast convergence on smooth, convex problems, but may struggle with non-convex problems due to local minima. Simulated annealing stands out for its ability to escape local minima, which makes it effective for a wider range of problems, but its performance heavily depends on how its parameters are set. This comparison helps in understanding when and why to choose one technique over another based on the specific problem characteristics. Genes, alleles, and genotypes. In genetic algorithms, individuals in a population are represented by their genotypes, which encapsulate the genetic information. A genotype consists of genes, each of which can come in different variants, known as alleles. For instance, if we consider a simple algorithm designing a virtual creature, each gene could represent a specific feature, like color or size, while alleles would be the exact values, such as red or 10 centimeters. In the provided code snippet, we define a simple Python class, virtual creature, to simulate the concept of genes, alleles, and genotypes. Each instance of virtual creature represents an individual with a specific genotype. The constructor accepts two parameters representing two different genes, one for color and another for size, with the actual parameters, red, 10 centimeters, being alleles of these genes. This example illustrates how genes and alleles form the basis of genotypes, determining the traits of individuals in genetic algorithms. Phenotypes. In genetic algorithms, the phenotype is the manifestation of the genotype within the environment. Basically, it's the traits or behaviors that result from the genetic makeup. It's what the algorithm is ultimately optimizing for, visible through the performance or fitness in the given context. To understand phenotypes, imagine a simplistic scenario where a genetic algorithm is used to evolve the design of cars for optimal speed. The genotype might be various parameters defining the car's design stored digitally, while the phenotype is the actual performance of the car model when simulated or constructed, its speed, stability, fuel efficiency, etc. In the given Python code, we model a very basic scenario mirroring the concept of phenotypes in genetic algorithms. A car class is defined with design params representing the genotype. The simulate performance method interprets these parameters to calculate speed, symbolizing the phenotype in this scenario. The car's speed, computed as a function of the design parameters, helps conceptualize how various genotypes, designs, manifest as phenotypes, car speeds, in the environment. Each instantiation of the car class, with different design params, can lead to diverse phenotypic expressions, different speeds, which a genetic algorithm would optimize by selecting, crossing, and mutating these design parameters, genotypes, over numerous generations. Populations. In genetic algorithms, a population is a collection of individual solutions. Each individual, often referred to as a chromosome, represents a possible solution to the problem being solved. Populations evolve over generations through processes inspired by natural selection, such as selection, crossover, and mutation. This example demonstrates how to initialize a simple population represented by binary strings in Python. The code snippet creates a population of size 10, where each individual chromosome is a binary string of length 5. It uses Python's random.randint01 to generate each bit in a chromosome. Thus, each chromosome is a list of integers, zeros and ones. Essentially, this piece of code initializes the population with random solutions. This step is the starting point in the implementation of genetic algorithms, as the evolution process begins with a diverse set of candidate solutions. Fitness functions. In genetic algorithms, a fitness function is crucial as it evaluates how close a given solution candidate is to meeting the set objectives. Essentially, it quantifies the fitness of a solution, how good or bad it is. The choice of fitness function significantly impacts the efficiency and success of the genetic algorithm. For illustrative purposes, let's consider a simple scenario, optimizing a function to find its maximum value. The presented code defines a simple fitness function, which evaluates the fitness of a candidate solution based on the equation x to 2 minus 4 to x plus 7. In this context, x represents a candidate solution. The function returns a value that quantifies the quality of x. In optimization problems, the goal could be to maximize or minimize this value. This particular fitness function has a parabolic shape, implying that there exists an x that either maximizes or minimizes the equation's outcome, making it a suitable example for demonstrating how a genetic algorithm would search for an optimal solution by evaluating the fitness of various candidates. Selection. Selection is the process in genetic algorithms, GAs, where individuals, solutions, are chosen from a population for breeding to create next generation. The probability of selection is typically based on fitness, with fitter individuals more likely to be selected. This simulates natural selection. One common method of selection is the roulette wheel selection, where the chance of selection is proportional to an individual's fitness. In the provided code, we define a function roulette wheel selection that selects an individual from a population using the roulette wheel selection method. First, we calculate the total fitness of the population. Then we compute the selection probabilities for each individual based on their fitness relative to the total fitness. Finally, using random.choices, an individual is selected based on these probabilities. The function takes in a population list and the corresponding fitnesses list as inputs and returns the selected individual. The use of proportional probabilities ensures that individuals with higher fitness have a greater chance of being selected, although it's not guaranteed, reflecting the stochastic nature of genetic algorithms. Crossover. Crossover is a genetic algorithm mechanism where two parent solutions are combined to produce one or more offspring solutions. It mimics biological reproduction, allowing genetic material, solution attributes, to be mixed, potentially leading to better solutions. Below, we illustrate a simple single-point crossover on binary strings. It selects a point on the parent organism's genome and swaps the subsequences after that point between the two parents to create new offspring. The crossover function takes two parent strings, parent1 and parent2, as input. A random crossover point is chosen within the length of the parents, excluding the ends to ensure actual mixing. Two offspring are then created. The first combines the beginning of parent1 up to the crossover point with the end of parent2 from the crossover point. Conversely, the second offspring combines the beginning of parent2 with the end of parent1 from the crossover point. This process allows the exploration of new points in the solution space that might yield better fitness scores. Mutation. Mutation is a genetic algorithm operation used to introduce diversity into the population of candidate solutions by randomly altering one or more gene values in a chromosome. It helps the algorithm to avoid local optima and explore more of the search space. The operation's efficiency relies on the mutation rate, which determines how frequently mutation occurs. Here, we implement a simple mutation function that flips a bit in a binary string representation of a chromosome. In this Python code, we define a function mutate that takes a chromosome, represented as a string of zeros and ones, and a mutation rate as inputs. The mutation rate controls the likelihood of each bit in the chromosome being flipped, i.e. 0 turned into 1, or 1 turned into 0. We iterate over each character in the chromosome string. If a randomly generated number is less than the mutation rate, we flip the bit at that position. The function returns the mutated chromosome. This implementation exemplifies how mutation introduces variations, aiding in exploring new solutions. Elitism. Elitism in genetic algorithms is a technique to ensure that the fittest individuals, or solutions, of the current generation are carried over to the next generation without modification. This strategy helps to preserve good solutions and avoid losing them during the crossover and mutation processes. Let's consider a simple implementation of elitism in a genetic algorithm, where we identify and directly copy the best performing individuals into the next generation. In the provided code, the function applyElitism sorts the population based on their fitness values in descending order, ensuring that individuals with higher fitness are at the beginning of the list. By specifying num_elites, defaulted to 2, it determines how many top-performing individuals are considered as elites. These elites are then directly extracted from the sorted list, without modifications, and returned. This process guarantees that the best solutions found so far are not lost in subsequent generations, fostering a quicker convergence towards an optimal or near-optimal solution. Encoding solutions. Encoding is the first step in creating a genetic algorithm. It involves representing potential solutions to the problem within the framework of the algorithm. Solutions can be encoded in various formats, like binary strings, arrays of numbers, or even more complex data structures. The choice of encoding greatly influences the algorithm's performance and its ability to effectively search the solution space. For illustration, we'll use binary encoding to represent a simple problem solution. In this example, we define a function binary encoding that takes a list of integers, 0s and 1s, as input, and returns a single string representing the binary encoded solution. The function iterates over the input list, converts each integer to a string, and joins them into a unified string without spaces. This process transforms the list 10110 into the string 11011, which is the binary representation of the solution. This encoded format is beneficial because it's straightforward for genetic operations like crossover and mutation, which are central to the evolution of solutions in genetic algorithms. Initializing populations. Initializing a population is the first step in a genetic algorithm, where we generate a set of possible solutions randomly. Each possible solution in the population is called an individual or a chromosome, and the features that make up an individual are called genes. In this example, we'll initialize a population for a problem where each individual has 10 genes, and each gene can take any value from 0 to 9. In this code, we use Python's random module to generate a population of 100 individuals, with each individual comprising 10 genes. The genes are integers between 0 and 9. We achieve this by using a list comprehension nested within another list comprehension. The outer list comprehension iterates through each individual in the population, while the inner one generates the genes for each individual. Random.randint 09 gives us a random integer between 0 and 9, inclusive for each gene. Finally, all these individuals are stored in the population variable, which is then printed out to show the initialized population. Defining a fitness function. In genetic algorithms, GAs, a fitness function is crucial as it evaluates how close a given solution is to meeting the set objectives. Essentially, it quantifies the suitability of an individual solution within the population. For our example, assume we aim to maximize the equation y equals minus x squared plus 4x. The fitness function will measure how well each individual approximates this goal. The defined function fitness function takes a single argument x, which represents an individual solution in the population. This function then evaluates the individual's fitness by substituting it into the equation y equals minus x squared plus 4x. The result of this calculation is the individual's fitness score. The higher the score, the closer the individual is to the optimal solution for our example. This score is used by the genetic algorithm to guide the evolutionary process toward more favorable solutions. Selection methods: roulette wheel, tournament, rank. In genetic algorithms, selection methods are crucial for determining which individuals from the population will be chosen for reproduction in the next generation. 3 popular selection methods are roulette wheel, tournament, and rank selection. Each method has its unique approach to selecting individuals based on their fitness scores. Roulette wheel selection involves creating a roulette wheel where each individual's chance of being selected is proportional to its fitness. Imagine segments of a wheel where fitter individuals occupy larger segments. Tournament selection involves randomly choosing a set of individuals from the population and then selecting the fittest among them for reproduction. The size of the tournament can vary. Rank selection first ranks the population based on fitness and then selects individuals according to their rank. The higher the rank, closer to being the fittest, the higher the probability of being selected. This method avoids the issue of fitness scaling, but can lead to premature convergence if not carefully implemented. Crossover methods: single point, multi-point, uniform. Crossover is a genetic algorithm operation used to combine the genetic information of 2 parents to generate new offspring. It is fundamental in promoting genetic diversity. This example illustrates 3 primary crossover methods: single point, multi-point, and uniform. In the single point crossover, a random point on the parent genomes is chosen, and genetic material is exchanged to create 2 new offspring. This method is simple and ensures that large sections of a parent's genome can be passed on. The multi-point crossover generalizes this by allowing multiple points to be chosen, which can lead to a more nuanced mixing of parental genomes. It's especially useful when certain traits are linked to specific gene clusters. Uniform crossover does not rely on specific points, but instead on a probability, p, deciding for each gene whether it comes from the first or second parent. This method is highly flexible and generates a diverse set of offspring, but might disrupt complex gene combinations responsible for desired traits. Mutation methods: bit flip, swap, inversion. Mutation is a genetic algorithm operation that introduces variety into the population. Three common methods are bit flip, swap, and inversion. We'll illustrate these using a simple Python example. Below is a code snippet showcasing all three mutation methods on a binary bit string and a list. The code defines three functions, each implementing a different mutation method. The bit flip function randomly selects a bit in a bit string and flips its value. This is useful for binary encoded genetic algorithms. The swap function selects two positions at random in a list and swaps their values, common for permutation-based representations. The inversion function picks two positions at random and then reverses the sublist that lies between them, useful for order-dependent problems. Each function modifies the input in place to introduce variation, which can help escape local optima and explore the solution space more thoroughly. Maintaining population diversity. Maintaining population diversity is crucial in genetic algorithms to prevent premature convergence on suboptimal solutions. One common technique is the introduction of a diversity mechanism, such as mutation. This example illustrates how a simple mutation operation can be implemented to maintain diversity within a population. In this Python function, mutate, we take an individual, a list of binary values, and a mutation rate as parameters. The function iterates through each gene, bit of the individual, and with a probability equal to the mutation rate, flips the bit, 0 becomes 1, 1 becomes 0 to introduce variety. The random.random function generates a random float between 0.0 and 1.0. If this value is less than the mutation rate, the mutation occurs. This simple operation helps to maintain genetic diversity within the population, ensuring that the genetic algorithm continues to explore different regions of the solution space rather than converging too quickly on a possibly suboptimal solution. Adaptive mutation rates. In genetic algorithms, the mutation rate determines how frequently mutations occur, which can significantly affect the algorithm's performance. An adaptive mutation rate adjusts itself based on how the population evolves over time, aiming to balance exploration and exploitation. This approach helps prevent premature convergence on suboptimal solutions and encourages diversity in the population. This code snippet defines a function that adjusts the mutation rate adaptively based on the performance of the current population compared to the previous one. If the current population's fitness improves, indicating an exploration of beneficial traits, the mutation rate decreases. Using a factor, default is 0.9, to focus more on exploitation. Conversely, if the fitness does not improve, it suggests the need for more exploration, thereby increasing the mutation rate. Using a factor, default is 1.1, to encourage further diversity in the population. This mechanism aims to dynamically balance exploration and exploitation by adjusting the mutation rate as the algorithm progresses. Crossover rate variation. In genetic algorithms, the crossover rate determines how often crossover operations occur between individuals in a population. Adjusting the crossover rate can significantly impact the algorithm's performance. A variable crossover rate adjusts dynamically through the evolutionary process, potentially leading to more efficient exploration and exploitation of the search space. Here's a simple implementation of a variable crossover rate strategy, adjusting based on generations. The adjust crossover rate function dynamically adjusts the crossover rate over time. It takes an initial rate, max generations, and the current generation as inputs. The function linearly decreases the crossover rate as the current generation number increases. This strategy allows for a high exploration rate in early generations through more frequent crossover events and a higher exploitation rate in later generations by reducing the crossover rate, hence focusing more on the exploitation of the best solutions. Niching methods for maintaining diversity. In genetic algorithms, maintaining diversity within the population is crucial to avoid premature convergence to suboptimal solutions. Niching methods are techniques designed to preserve genetic diversity throughout the run of the algorithm. One popular method is the crowding and demeating strategy. It ensures that the new offspring replace individuals that are most similar to them, rather than replacing individuals randomly. This approach maintains niche populations within the larger population, promoting exploration of the solution space. The provided pseudocode defines a basic structure for implementing a crowding distance method, a popular niching method. It outlines a function that computes the similarity between each offspring and the individuals in the current population to identify the individual most similar to each offspring. This individual will then be replaced by the offspring, ensuring that the genetic diversity of the population is retained. This process helps in preserving specialized solutions to different parts of the problem space, which might be lost due to random replacement or selection pressures favoring dominant traits. This method is especially useful in multimodal optimization problems, where multiple optimal solutions exist. Crowding and speciation. Crowding and speciation are techniques designed to maintain diversity within the population of a genetic algorithm. Crowding limits the similarity among individuals in a population, while speciation encourages the formation of subpopulations or species, each adapting to specific niches of the problem space. This can prevent premature convergence on suboptimal solutions by exploring multiple peaks in the fitness landscape. The provided code snippet demonstrates a simple implementation of deterministic crowding in a genetic algorithm. In this approach, two individuals are selected at random from the population, and their offspring are generated through crossover and mutation. The offspring are then compared to their parents based on similarity and fitness. The decision about which individuals, parent or offspring, to retain in the population is made by comparing combinations of similarity and fitness. This method encourages the maintenance of diversity by ensuring that similar individuals compete against each other, rather than letting one dominant genotype take over the entire population. It's a pragmatic technique for tackling the problem of premature convergence, facilitating exploration of different niches within the problem domain. Multi-objective optimization with genetic algorithms. Multi-objective optimization, MOO, with genetic algorithms, GAs, addresses problems involving multiple criteria that need to be optimized simultaneously. Traditional optimization methods often struggle with such scenarios, but GAs, with their population-based approach, offer a powerful alternative. MOO aims to find a set of optimal solutions, known as Pareto optimal solutions, where no objective can be improved without degrading another. Here, we'll explore a simplistic Python-based example using the NSGA2 algorithm, a popular method for MOO in GAs. In this example, we utilize the PyMu library, a specialized toolkit for multi-objective optimization in Python. We start by importing necessary components from PyMu. The getProblem function is used to load a predefined benchmark problem, ZDT1, commonly used to evaluate MOO methods. The NSGA2 algorithm, implemented in NSGA2, is chosen for this scenario due to its efficiency in finding a diverse set of Pareto optimal solutions. Our defined problem is passed alongside an instantiation of NSGA2 with a population size of 100 to the minimize function. Along with specifying the number of generations as 250, the execution of minimize performs the optimization process. The result of the optimization, stored in result, includes various aspects of the outcome, with result.f representing the Pareto front. This front is a set of non-dominated solutions, illustrating the trade-offs between objectives that an engineer or decision maker might consider when assessing optimal designs or solutions. Constraint handling techniques. In genetic algorithms, constraint handling is crucial for ensuring solutions remain viable within the problem's defined parameters. Penalties are commonly applied to the fitness function to discourage or eliminate solutions that violate constraints. This example demonstrates a simple penalty-based approach for handling constraints in a genetic algorithm designed to optimize a function subject to a constraint that all values must be less than a certain threshold. The code defines a fitness function that includes a penalty mechanism for constraint handling. Base fitness is calculated using the objective function of the genetic algorithm. Each gene of the individual solution is checked against a threshold constraint. If a gene exceeds the threshold, a penalty is calculated based on the square of the difference between the gene value and the threshold, and the total penalty is subtracted from the base fitness. This ensures that solutions violating the constraints are less likely to be selected for the next generation, steering the population towards feasible solutions. Introduction to hybrid GAs. Hybrid genetic algorithms, GAs, combine the global search capability of genetic algorithms with the precision of local optimization methods to enhance performance. This approach leverages the genetic algorithm's ability to explore a broad solution space and uses local search to exploit promising regions efficiently. Hybrid GAs are particularly useful in solving complex optimization problems where finding an exact solution is computationally expensive. The code snippet outlines a basic structure of a hybrid genetic algorithm. It starts with a population and iterates over a predefined number of generations. Within each generation, it performs typical genetic operations, selection, crossover, mutation, to create offspring. After these genetic operations, it applies a local search function to each offspring. This local search attempts to improve each individual by making small, beneficial changes, exploiting the local region of the search space. The population is then updated for the next generation, ideally improving over time. The algorithm returns the best individual found across all generations, which represents the optimum or near-optimum solution. This process combines the exploratory power of genetic algorithms with the efficiency of local search, aiming to accelerate convergence towards optimal solutions. Combining GAs with local search, mimetic algorithms. Mimetic algorithms, MAs, combine the global search ability of genetic algorithms with the precision of local search methods. This hybrid approach enables the exploration of the solution space through GA and refines solutions using a local search to find optimal or near-optimal solutions faster. This example demonstrates a basic framework of a mimetic algorithm for optimizing a simple problem. The code demonstrates the structure of a mimetic algorithm by integrating a local search process into a genetic algorithm's flow. Initially, it defines a local search function, which should contain logic to improve a single solution. The genetic algorithm function represents a placeholder for conventional GA processes like selection, crossover, and mutation. The core of this example is the mimetic algorithm function. It starts by applying local search to each individual in the initial population, refining them before the genetic algorithm is run. This ensures that the GA operates on a population that has already been locally optimized, potentially leading to faster convergence on optimal solutions. Finally, it applies the GA to find the best solution. The initial population is generated randomly for demonstration purposes. Hybridization with other heuristic optimization techniques. Hybrid genetic algorithms, GAs, leverage the strengths of genetic algorithms and other heuristic optimization techniques to solve problems more efficiently. By integrating methods such as simulated annealing, taboo search, or particle swarm optimization, hybrids aim to balance exploration and exploitation, mitigate premature convergence, and enhance solution quality. Below is a pseudocode example showcasing a simple hybrid GA integrated with simulated annealing for a hypothetical optimization problem. This pseudocode outlines a hybrid approach, beginning with the initialization of a population. Standard genetic algorithm operations such as selection, crossover, and mutation proceed in a loop until a stopping condition, e.g., a convergence criterion, is met. Uniquely, this hybrid introduces a conditional check for applying simulated annealing adjustments. If specific conditions are satisfied, these could be based on current performance, stagnation detection, or other criteria. The algorithm applies adjustments inspired by simulated annealing, potentially altering some individuals within the population or their features to escape local optima. This illustrates how the explorative capability of simulated annealing can enhance the GA's search effectiveness by allowing jumps to less optimal, yet promising, regions of the search space, which might lead to discovering superior solutions. Real-world applications of hybrid GAs. Hybrid genetic algorithms, GAs, combine the global search capability of genetic algorithms with the efficiency of local search methods. In the real world, these are applied to complex problems where finding an optimal solution is difficult using conventional methods alone. This includes areas like optimization, machine learning, scheduling, and engineering design. We'll explore a hybrid GA implementation for solving a vehicle routing problem, VRP, a common logistical challenge. This code snippet provides a glimpse into how a hybrid GA might be implemented for a vehicle routing problem, VRP. Initially, a genetic algorithm is used to generate and evolve a population of solutions, exploring the search space broadly. The fitness function is designed to evaluate how good these solutions are, presumably by calculating the total distance traveled, fuel consumption, or some related metric. After a set number of generations or once satisfactory solutions are found, the best solutions undergo further optimization through a local search technique. Here, the minimize function from sipi.optimize is used with the BFGS method, a type of gradient descent, to refine these solutions to find even better local minima. It demonstrates a practical application of hybrid GAs in logistics, where initially broad search techniques are combined with precise, local optimization methods to solve complex routing problems efficiently. Differences between genetic algorithms and genetic programming. Genetic algorithms, GA, and genetic programming, GP, are both evolutionary algorithms used for optimization problems, but they differ significantly in their representations and applications. Understanding these differences is crucial for selecting the appropriate algorithm for a specific problem. In this example, we'll illustrate a key difference in the representation of solutions between GA and GP. Genetic algorithms typically work with a fixed-length string of characters, often binary, but it can also be a string of numbers or other characters that represent potential solutions to a problem. For example, optimizing the design of a wing might involve a string encoding various parameters like length, width, and material properties. Genetic programming, on the other hand, uses tree structures to represent solutions, which can change in size and shape. This structure is more suited for problems requiring the discovery of executable code sequences or mathematical expressions, such as finding a formula that fits a set of data. Therefore, while GA focuses on optimizing a set of parameters within a fixed framework, GP is geared towards finding and optimizing structures, like code or expressions, that can solve a problem. Tree-based genetic programming. Tree-based genetic programming is a type of genetic algorithm that evolves programs or expressions, typically to solve computational problems. In this paradigm, solutions are represented as syntax trees, where the nodes represent operations or functions, and the leaves represent the inputs or constants. A simple example is evolving mathematical expressions to fit a set of data points. In the code example, we demonstrate the initial steps of tree-based genetic programming by generating a population of random expressions. The function generateInitialPopulation creates a list of expressions with a given size, where each expression is generated by the random expression function. This function creates a random mathematical expression represented as a tree. If the specified depth is 1, it generates a terminal node, which is either a variable x or a constant 1. For deeper nodes, it randomly selects an arithmetic operation and recursively generates 2 sub-expressions. This technique of representing and initializing expressions symbolizes the foundational structure of tree-based genetic programming, illustrating how initial solutions might be represented and constructed. Linear genetic programming. Linear genetic programming, LGP, is a variant of genetic programming that evolves sequences of instructions from a linear representation of computer programs. Unlike traditional genetic programming, which typically manipulates tree-based structures, LGP works with a linear sequence of instructions inspired by assembly language or bytecode. This approach can often lead to more efficient and simpler solutions for certain types of problems. The provided sample represents a very simple LGP program using a hypothetical instruction set. Each line of the program represents an operation, manipulating data stored in registers, R1, R2, etc. The operations include addition, subtraction, sub, and multiplication, μl, of the values in specified registers. This program sequences 3 operations. It first adds the values in R1 and R2, storing the result in R1, then multiplies the result with the value in R3, again storing in R1, and finally subtracts the value in R3 from R4. LGP evolves such programs by applying genetic operators, mutation, crossover, on these linear sequences of instructions to solve specific tasks, optimizing for performance or accuracy. Applications of genetic programming. Genetic programming, GP, is an evolutionary algorithm-based methodology inspired by biological evolution to find computer programs that perform a user-defined task. It is used across various domains such as symbolic regression, automated programming, machine learning, and artificial life. Below is a simple Python example to demonstrate a GP application for symbolic regression, where the goal is to discover the underlying mathematical model of given data. In this code example, we utilize gplearn, a Python library for genetic programming, to solve a symbolic regression problem. Symbolic regression involves finding a mathematical expression in symbolic form that best fits a given dataset. The symbolic regressor class from gplearn is initialized with parameters such as population size and generations, which define the size of the population and the number of generations over which the evolution occurs, respectively. The fit method is then called with the input features x and target values y to start the genetic programming process. The algorithm evolves mathematical expressions through operations like crossover, mutation, and selection to minimize the error between the predicted and actual values. Finally, the discovered equation that models the data is printed, showcasing how GP can automatically identify complex relationships within data. Need for parallel and distributed GAs. Parallel and distributed genetic algorithms, GAs, address the challenges of scalability and computational cost associated with solving complex optimization problems using traditional GAs. By distributing the workload across multiple processors or computers, these algorithms aim to enhance performance and efficiency. The presented code showcases the initial setup for parallelizing a genetic algorithm using DEEP, a popular evolutionary computation framework in Python. It starts by importing necessary modules, including multiprocessing for parallel execution. The creator is used to define both the individual and its fitness measure in the context of a maximization problem. The toolbox is initialized and the map function gets registered with pool.map to enable parallel processing. This setup paves the way for executing the GA's operations, such as evaluation, crossover, and mutation, concurrently across multiple processors, thereby enhancing computational efficiency. Models of parallel genetic algorithms. Parallel genetic algorithms, PGAs, enhance the performance of traditional GAs through parallelism. There are primarily three models based on their population structure and communication strategy: fine-grained, cellular, coarse-grained, island model, and global parallel GAs. Here, we will focus on the island model due to its popularity and ease of implementation. In the island model, the population is divided into smaller subpopulations, islands, each evolving independently with occasional migration of individuals between islands. This allows for exploration of different parts of the search space in parallel. In this code snippet, we demonstrate a basic structure to implement the island model in Python using DEEP, a popular evolutionary computation framework. First, we define the fitness and individual structures. Then, we create a function to generate individual binary chromosomes. The population is divided into two islands, Island 1 and Island 2. The migrate function, which is left as a placeholder, represents where you would define logic for migrating individuals between islands. This could be based on certain conditions, such as a fixed number of generations passing or achieving a certain fitness threshold. The main loop evolves each island's population separately, with a placeholder evolve function, also indicating where the detailed genetic algorithm operations, like selection, crossover, and mutation, would occur. The concept reflects the island model's structure, where subpopulations evolve in parallel with periodic interaction through migration, thereby encouraging both exploration and exploitation of the search space. Island model GAs. Island model genetic algorithms, GAs, are a type of parallel GAs, where the population is divided into several subpopulations, islands, each evolving independently for a number of generations. Occasionally, individuals migrate between islands, simulating natural populations. This approach promotes genetic diversity and can lead to faster convergence. We'll use Python to simulate a basic island model framework. The code defines a simple migration function for an island model GA. It starts by calculating the number of islands based on the length of the populations list, each element being a population of an island. For each island, it calculates the number of migrants based on the migration rate and the size of the island's population. If there are migrants, it selects a random island as the recipient of the migrants, ensuring it's not the same island. Migrants are then physically moved from one island's population to another, simulating the migration process in island model GAs. This function simulates one of the key features of island models, occasional migration between isolated populations, which is crucial for maintaining diversity and potentially leading to more efficient exploration of the solution space. Coarse-grained and fine-grained models. In genetic algorithms, the parallelization can be accomplished through coarse-grained and fine-grained models, each offering different benefits and challenges. The coarse-grained model, also known as island model, involves having multiple isolated populations, islands, that occasionally exchange individuals. The fine-grained model, also known as cellular model, has a single population structured in a grid where individuals can only interact with their close neighbors. The coarse-grained island model benefits from diversity among isolated populations, potentially avoiding premature convergence by exploring different areas of the solution space. Islands may evolve separately for a while before exchanging or migrating individuals, which can introduce new genetic material. This model is easier to implement on distributed systems where each island can run on a different processor. The fine-grained cellular model allows for very fine control over individuals' interactions, with selection and reproduction occurring in localized neighborhoods. This can lead to highly diverse solutions, but requires significant computational power for managing interactions and can be complex to implement efficiently. Both models address scalability and efficiency in different contexts of genetic algorithm applications. Implementation techniques and challenges. Implementing parallel and distributed genetic algorithms, PDGAs, involves distributing the population across multiple processors or computers to speed up the evolution process. This involves designing how individuals are migrated between subpopulations, islands, how to select individuals for migration, and ensuring efficient communication between processes. Here, we present a simplified example showcasing the migration strategy in a parallel genetic algorithm environment. In this pseudocode, we define a function migrateIndividuals that handles the migration of individuals between subpopulations in a parallel genetic algorithm. The function takes two arguments: subpopulations, a list of lists where each sublist represents a subpopulation, and migration rate, a decimal indicating the proportion of the population to migrate. For each subpopulation, a portion of individuals determined by the migration rate is selected for migration. Migrants.extend subpop selected. These migrants are then redistributed to other subpopulations, effectively ensuring genetic diversity across the distributed environment. This simplistic model demonstrates a vital aspect of PDGAs, managing genetic diversity through migration while addressing the challenge of designing efficient migration strategies. Convergence analysis. Convergence analysis in the context of genetic algorithms, GAs, refers to the study of how a GA progresses towards an optimal solution over generations. It's crucial for understanding the efficacy of the algorithm. Graphing the fitness values of the best individual per generation can visually demonstrate convergence. The provided code demonstrates how to perform a simple convergence analysis by plotting the average and the best fitness values across generations in a genetic algorithm. Initially, it imports the matplotlib library necessary for plotting. Sample fitness data for 20 generations is defined for both average and best fitness values to mimic a running GA's output. Finally, using matplotlib's plotting functions, it plots these values against the generations, providing a visual representation of how the genetic algorithm converges. The best fitness curve especially highlights the algorithm's effectiveness in finding better solutions over time. This kind of analysis helps in the qualitative assessment of the GA's performance and in identifying any possible stagnation in the search process. Visualizing genetic algorithm progress. Visualizing the progress of a genetic algorithm, GA, can provide insights into its performance, convergence rate, and the effectiveness of its operators, such as selection, crossover, and mutation. One common visualization approach is to plot the fitness values of the best solution, average fitness of the population, and the worst fitness over the generations. This helps in understanding how quickly the algorithm is improving over time and can identify any stagnation in progress. Below is a basic Python example using matplotlib to visualize the progress of a GA. The code snippet starts by importing the matplotlib library for plotting. It then creates example data representing the best, average, and worst fitness values over 50 generations, simulating the typical progress data you might get from running a genetic algorithm. The fitness values in this example are artificially generated to decrease over generations, which implies improvement since lower fitness values indicate better solutions in this context. This is done using list comprehensions for each type of fitness value, with the assumption that the best fitness improves fastest, followed by the average, and then the worst. Finally, the code uses matplotlib to plot these values against the generation number, providing a clear visual representation of the genetic algorithm's progress. The plot includes labels and a legend for clarity, making it easier to understand the algorithm's improvement trajectory over time. Parameter tuning and sensitivity analysis. In genetic algorithms, parameter tuning and sensitivity analysis are crucial for optimizing the performance of an algorithm. Parameters like mutation rate, crossover rate, and population size significantly influence the algorithm's efficiency and outcome. Sensitivity analysis helps in understanding how changes in these parameters affect the algorithm's performance. The provided Python code demonstrates a simple approach to perform parameter tuning and sensitivity analysis for a genetic algorithm. Using sklern.modelselection.parameterGrid, it creates a grid of parameters, mutation rate, crossover rate, population size, with various values to test. For each combination of parameters, the genetic algorithm is initialized and run, and its performance is evaluated. This method allows for a systematic exploration of how different parameters impact the algorithm's performance, which is valuable for optimizing the algorithm's settings. Comparative studies and benchmarks. Comparative studies and benchmarks are essential in evaluating the performance of genetic algorithms across various problem domains. They help in understanding the strengths and weaknesses of different approaches. Benchmarks often include well-defined problems with known solutions to gauge the effectiveness of a genetic algorithm. Here, we'll compare the performance of two simplistic genetic algorithms on a benchmark function. The code demonstrates a simple framework for conducting comparative studies of genetic algorithms against benchmark functions. It defines a function, evaluate performance, that takes a genetic algorithm and a dictionary of benchmark functions, then applies the algorithm to each benchmark, storing the results in a dictionary. Two example benchmark functions, sphere and rastrogen, are provided to illustrate common optimization problems used in such studies. Finally, it visualizes the performance of the genetic algorithm on these benchmarks using a bar chart. This approach facilitates understanding the efficacy of genetic algorithms on different types of problems and guides further optimization. Handling dynamic environments with genetic algorithms. Genetic algorithms, GAs, are traditionally designed for static optimization problems. However, real-world problems often change over time, necessitating algorithms that can adapt to dynamic environments. To handle dynamic environments, GAs can be enhanced with mechanisms for detecting changes and promoting diversity, ensuring the population does not converge prematurely to suboptimal solutions. This code snippet introduces two fundamental concepts for handling dynamic environments with genetic algorithms: environment change detection and diversity promotion. First, detect environment change function checks if the environment has changed between generations, which is crucial for triggering adaptation processes. Next, promote diversity function represents a placeholder for mechanisms to maintain or increase genetic diversity within the population, such as increased mutation rates or injecting new, random individuals. These adaptations help ensure that the population can continually explore the solution space and adapt to new optima as the environment changes. Evolvable hardware. Evolvable hardware refers to hardware that can change its architecture and behavior dynamically and autonomously through the use of genetic algorithms, GAs, or other evolutionary techniques. This concept is especially intriguing in areas such as robotics, adaptive systems, and fault tolerance. A basic example involves evolving a digital circuit to perform a specific task. Below, we simulate a simplified evolvable hardware model in Python, targeting a simple logic gate function optimization. This Python code sketches a framework for an evolvable hardware process aiming at optimizing a digital circuit to produce a specific target output. It starts with the generation of an initial chromosome, a binary string representing a particular circuit configuration. The evolve logic gate function is designed to evolve this chromosome over generations, using genetic algorithm techniques, including evaluation, selection, crossover, and mutation, although these steps are not implemented in the provided code snippet. The goal is to adjust the circuit's configuration, chromosome, to match the target output, a predefined ideal output pattern. Due to the nature of genetic algorithms, this process involves a significant amount of randomness and selection pressures to iteratively improve the circuit's performance. This simplified model serves as a starting point for understanding how genetic algorithms can be applied to evolve hardware configurations for specific tasks. Multi-agent systems and GAs. Multi-agent systems involve multiple interacting agents within an environment, working together or competing to achieve specific goals. Genetic algorithms, GAs, can be used within mass for optimizing decision-making processes, strategies, or behaviors of agents. Here, we'll explore a simple Python example of a GA being applied to evolve the behavior of agents in a mass environment. This setup demonstrates how agents can autonomously adapt to achieve better outcomes over generations. In this code, the agent class represents an individual within a multi-agent system, equipped with a specific strategy. The mass class simulates the environment where these agents interact. The simulate method within the mass class evaluates each agent's performance by calling evaluateStrategy, a function assumed to compute an agent's fitness based on its strategy. After evaluation, agents are sorted based on their fitness scores. The generation evolves through genetic algorithm operations, selection, crossover, and mutation, encapsulated in the apply genetic operations method. This model exemplifies how GAs can dynamically adapt the agent's strategies to optimize their performance in a simulated environment. Quantum genetic algorithms. Quantum genetic algorithms, QGAs, build upon traditional genetic algorithms by incorporating quantum computing principles. One fundamental quantum computing concept used in QGAs is the qubit, which, unlike a classical bit that can be either 0 or 1, can exist in multiple states simultaneously thanks to superposition. This allows for a more efficient exploration of possible solutions, potentially improving convergence speed and solution quality. Here's a simple pseudocode to illustrate a basic structure of a quantum genetic algorithm. The code presents a basic structure for implementing a quantum genetic algorithm, QGA. Initially, a population of quantum chromosomes, qubits, is generated. Each chromosome represents a potential solution encoded in qubits, allowing for a probabilistic representation of multiple states. The fitness of each chromosome is evaluated to determine how close it is to the optimal solution. The algorithm then enters a loop where quantum-inspired selection methods are employed to choose parent chromosomes for breeding. Quantum crossover and mutation operators generate new offspring, which are then evaluated for fitness. The population is updated with these new offspring, ideally improving the population's overall quality. The loop continues until a convergence criterion is met or a maximum number of iterations is reached. Finally, the best solution among the population is returned as the output. This procedure leverages quantum computing principles to potentially enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of traditional genetic algorithms. Current research trends and future directions. In the realm of genetic algorithms, GAs, ongoing research continues to push the boundaries of what these algorithms can achieve. Current trends focus on hybridization, scalability, and application-specific enhancements. Future directions aim to tackle complex real-world problems more efficiently, leveraging advancements in machine learning, parallel computing, and domain-specific knowledge. The remarkable adaptability of GAs makes them a focal point for evolutionary computation research and practical applications. This section does not necessitate specific code, as it addresses overarching research trends and potential future directions in the field of genetic algorithms, rather than concrete implementations. Current research encompasses enhancing GAs through hybrid models that incorporate other optimization and machine learning techniques, improving their performance on large-scale problems and tailoring them to specific domains for increased efficacy. Researchers and practitioners are also exploring the use of parallel computing to speed up GAs and investigating ways to integrate domain-specific knowledge directly into the algorithm's fitness evaluation process, thus opening new avenues for solving complex, real-world problems more efficiently.